These wretched abominations blight this world, and every last one of them will perish by my hand.
Lucian is a great champion to climb solo queue with right now. His early game is fantastic, and if you play well in lane, you can carry your team to victory without too much trouble. The burst Lucian can put out is insane and often catches people by surprise. He is generally strong throughout the whole game but falls off a bit later compared to some other AD carries. You should be fed by then anyway. Building Blade of the Rune King is a must as it gives lifesteal, slow so your support can hit CC, and a bit of tank treading. Other than that, I won't really talk about items or runes. You should just check what the pros use and go with that. Your basic ability combo should look like this. Go and read Lucian's passive if you're confused as to why. His Q range is longer than cast range, so you can use it to poke safely in lane by casting on minions and trying to line it up correctly. Most of the time, especially early game, you want to start off with an auto attack and then switch into your abilities, but it depends on the circumstance. If you're in a late game situation and you're doing a ton of damage fighting another squishy enemy, it's often better to start off with a Q and then continue with the rest of your rotation as it provides better burst. Don't forget, however, that in late game, assuming you have built Infinity Edge, your auto attacks will be doing the most damage and you just want to use abilities to get a double auto attack. Lucian's ultimate is great for picking people off and getting kills as they're running away. You want to try and keep track of people's movement abilities and flash cooldowns, because if you start ulting, and they could easily use some movement ability to avoid it. I also advise you use it on an enemy that is being stunned, especially if it's a squishy champion that can die quickly. Often I like to jump in and just use my regular abilities in that situation, but if there's a risk that you can get caught and killed by some CC or something, it's best to start with your ultimate. Making use of your ultimate's range is also a very powerful tactic. Often you can get the enemy AD carry or another squishy very low just by using your ultimate correctly, especially if they're trying to chase you down. He has a great early game, including some decent poke. With a good early game CC support like Thresh, you can get level 2 first by pushing the wave, and after that with a good hook and ignite, it's almost always first blood if you play it correctly. Depending on the lane matchup, you could have a tough time early on. From my experience, Janna is probably one of the worst supports for Lucian, as her early game isn't great, and her main job is to protect and peel for hyper carries late game. Lucian can go well with either poke or all-in supports, as he's quite a versatile AD carry. Thresh is one of the best supports to go with, as he has 3 sets of CC, which can lock people down while you ult or all-in on them. Against a heavy poke lane like Jhin Brand or something like that, you may struggle early on and have to play passively and let them push to the tower. Don't worry too much if you get behind a bit on CS, because there can be a reason for that. Once you've leveled up a bit and perhaps get a jungler gank, you can easily take back the advantage. In getting your lifesteal will help you mitigate the effect of the poke. Quite often, you can play quite aggressive in lane by using E to dash in and get some damage off. You have to be very careful though, as this can go wrong, especially if a jungler is nearby, or you get hit by CC from their support after dashing. Doing this can really catch the enemy off guard though and give you a huge advantage in lane. You should use this advantage to zone them out of CSing and try and snowball the lane into a harder advantage. By the time laning phase is over, you want to be trying to force fights and push objectives. Let your team know what objective you want to go for and try and put some purpose into them. Most of the time you want to swap mid or top depending on what towers are down and what champions are there. If you have a good split pusher like Zed in mid, then swap with him and he can go bot and push up the lane. Generally you want to attack whoever's closest to you, but it depends on what the enemy jungler and top is. In most situations they'll try and kill either you or the mid laner. Every team fight is different, but if they have a full tank like Sion, who is behind their jungler focusing our mid laner, I would follow my own top laner and go kill their squishies. If they have a fed Riven, however, I would try my best to avoid getting stunned, because if you get stunned you're just going to instantly die, and hopefully your team is smart enough to help peel and nuke her down with you. Of course, team fighting is mostly about positioning, and you should be at the back of your team. If the enemy team have a dangerous assassin like Zed or LeBlanc, it may be worth waiting until they use up their ultimate or engage someone else before getting too close. The ideal situation is that you join the team fight just as everyone has engaged, so you can be sure that they aren't engaging on you. Thanks for watching. I believe Lucian is the best AD carry to carry solo queue with right now, and if you have any questions about playing him, please drop a comment.